afternoon. I'll start with acknowledgement of country. Before the meeting commences, I would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the land of the Bidjigal and the Gadigal people who occupied the Sydney coast, being the traditional owners. On behalf of Randwick Local Planning Panel, I acknowledge and pay my respects to the elders past and present and the Aboriginal people in attendance today.
Sorry, I just turned that off.
If everyone could please place themselves on mute. Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to the Randwick Local Planning Panel meeting on the 9th of October 2025.
I don't know how to.
My name's Julie Walsh and I'm the chair of today's panel. Also sitting with me are expert members Claire Brown and Stuart McDonald and community member Heather Cappy-Wood. Prior to the commencement of this meeting, all panel members were required to sign a declaration of interest in relation to the two items on the agenda of the public meeting, and I can confirm that all declarations of interest have been received and that no conflicts were identified. The signed declarations of interest will be available to view through Council's website by tomorrow afternoon. Do any of the panel members have any further matters to declare in relation to the two items listed on the public meeting today? No, and nor do I. Today we have, in relation to the two items, we have 6 people registered to speak, 1 in relation to the first item and 5 in relation to the second item. Registered speakers for each item are heard in the order, objectors following by applicant and applicant's representatives. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to address the panel. If I consider it appropriate, an extension of 1 minute may be granted on request. However, no further extension will be granted. The panel has been provided with copies of all the submissions received in response to the public exhibition of the application. Therefore, there is no need for speakers to repeat all the points made in these submissions. Speakers should focus on the key matters they wish us to understand and consider, including any suggestions about how their concerns could be resolved. The applicant may wish to comment on issues raised in the Council's report, provide a response to proposed conditions and/or address any issues raised by an objector. After the speaker has addressed the panel members may ask the speaker questions to clarify any matters. Only registered speakers will be allowed to speak and respond to questions from the panel. Any person using defamatory or offensive language may be asked to leave the meeting or the meeting may be adjourned. An audio recording is being made of this meeting and we ask that speakers use the microphone on their device when addressing the panel to ensure that their comments are recorded. The audio recording will be made available through Council's website by tomorrow afternoon. After all registered speakers have been heard, the panel will deliberate and vote on each matter in a closed session. And the minutes should be available on the website within the next few days. The first application to have a registered speaker is DA 5625, 130 to 134 Coogee Bay Road, Coogee, and the objector is Helen Pitt.
Hello, can you hear me?
Thank you. Please proceed.
Okay, I speak on behalf of the residents of 124 to 128 Coogee Bay Road, Powell Street, Melody Lane and the Coogee Bay Precinct Committee, all of whom have objected to this DA. So from a planning perspective, this development of 21 units, 42 car spaces and at least 3 commercial premises is excessive. It's non-compliant with local planning rules for both height and floor square metre ratio limits. Its excessive bulk is incompatible with the low-rise residential neighbourhood of our neighbourhood on Powell Lane. The Council's report really thoroughly outlines the planning concerns, but I'd like to tell you our personal concerns. As a resident to the western lower side of the building, our home will be directly and negatively impacted. We'll be completely overshadowed. The proposal currently fails to give us the minimum 2 hours of direct sunlight through our east-facing living room windows in the winter solstice, and we'll be lucky to get 1 hour of sunlight in winter, which means it fails to meet the minimum light requirements under the planning controls. Now, this room's our only living space, and it serves multiple functions: living, working, playing music, drying clothes, as well, because we have no balcony and no backyard. So this lack of sunlight is going to really severely impact our amenity and our well-being. So also the inadequate side and rear setbacks, which are 3 metres and 5 metres respectively, will create overlooking, lack of privacy, acoustic impacts for all the properties.
Can I just stop you there? Is there someone here who hasn't got themselves on mute? Because I'm getting a little bit of background noise. So I'm just wondering if everybody else can please make sure they're on mute apart from the person speaking. Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
Please proceed, sorry.
Especially there's a proposed commercial tenancy fronting Powell Lane, which is completely out of step with the streetscape. So not only would we be overshadowed, we'd be overlooked. Where we now have uninterrupted district views to the east of flora and fauna and bountiful light, we'll be looking straight onto a brick wall. The removal of several significant trees, including a protected Melaleuca paperbark, a fiddle-leaf fig and 2 large 100-year-old Phoenix date palms, contradicts Randwick Council's DCP B5 and the New South Wales Green Neighbourhoods program. These trees provide homes for kookaburras and lorikeets and ringtail possums and bats and even the coels. This greenery and wildlife gives our entire urban neighbourhood much joy. Powell Lane is a low-rise, low-traffic suburban precinct used by pedestrians and cyclists and children playing or walking to the nearby Coogee public. The introduction of a subterranean car park would turn a quiet, narrow lane into a major thoroughfare with potential traffic congestion and pollution. The provision of 42 car spaces encourages greater car use, which is unnecessary given Coogie's excellent access to public transport and walkable amenities. If it went ahead, it would be as the song says, they pave paradise and put up a parking lot. We don't need this undesirable precedent for overdevelopment. It also has inadequate waste storage and collection arrangements.
Oh, sorry, that was the 3-minute bell. If you could please wrap it up. Thank you.
Okay, I want you to know it's not a shop top development, it's a shop rear development. And given the potential for serious harm for residential amenity and a whole host of things, there's a chance that this is going to really impact our amenity. We applaud the council staff in their detailed decision to reject this proposal in its current form, and I respectfully call on the planning panel to do the same.
Thank you. I'll just check if anyone has any questions. Thank you very much. As I said, when we've concluded the next item, we'll go into closed session, make our determination and our decisions and reasons for the question.
And can I just add, we were under the impression that only one person could speak, so I was chosen. I didn't realise there were others that could, so apologies. We would have had more people, but we thought there was only one, so I'd just like
Thank you. That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so the next item is 41 Oberon Street, Randwick, DA 634/2025. And actually, I should also record that we have inspected both of the sites on the agenda today, and in respect of this one, we did not only go onto the subject site, but we went onto the site next door, 43 Oberon Street, this morning. And we also did have sent to us some late correspondence that came to the council offices that's been sent to us. All right, so the first objector I have listed is Kieran Wallington.
Thank you, Chairperson and panel members for this opportunity meeting regarding DA 634/203.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. Have you got your microphone on?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, just speak up a bit.
Okay, I'll start again. Thank you, Chairperson and panel members, for this opportunity to address the public meeting regarding.
Sorry, it's still not.
It's the program saying who's coming in and out.
Yeah. Yes. So
You should be good now.
you should be good now. And just so could you just speak a little bit louder? Yeah. Thank you.
No worries. Third time lucky.
Yes.
Here we go. Okay, thank you, Chairperson and panel members, for this opportunity to address the public meeting regarding DA 634/2025. We're advised that the panel have been issued with our previous written submissions, including subsequent email correspondence addressing our concerns, in particular, a planning report prepared by GLN Planning dated 19th of July 2025. We have lived in the adjoining residence at 43 Oberon Street, Randwick, for approximately 27 years. The applicant acquired their premises in 2009. A pair of semi-detached residents were most likely built in the 50s or 60s. The orientation and configuration of the garages and private open space have been in place since then. Both properties have undertaken construction works, including adding additional stories to their premises. This application is to demolish an existing compliant garage and replace it with a non-compliant garage with additional storage to improve the amenity and configuration of the applicant's rear courtyard. However, the resiting of the rear garage will impact the amenity of our courtyard, require excavation on our boundary, destroying our rear fence and replacing it with the rear panelling of the garage that extends above the existing fence line and permitted side boundary fence line of 1.8 metres, and for which there are no easements for repair or maintenance proposed, and requires the removal of a much valued existing tree in the rear laneway that provides privacy and visual amenity. These impacts have been assessed by a real estate estimate suggesting a loss in value of between 5 and 10%. Council's DCP provides a number of standards and diagrams that seek to control the design of garages, as these are important in the streetscape and can impact adjoining properties. The non-compliances of the resited garage include exceeding the maximum garage width, proposing storage at the side of the garage rather than the rear, the structure not meeting the required setbacks, and extending above the existing fence line. It further presents as a single obstruction across the entire rear boundary, sterilising the laneway. The applicant has now submitted 3 non-compliant applications for the demolition and reconstruction of a garage and storage. The applicant has not consulted with us on any of their applications and has disregarded our previous submissions addressing the non-compliances, in particular the orientation of the building, which is the major cause of the impacts. It should be remembered that the applicant already has a compliant garage that could be added to for additional storage at the end as per the DCP controls. And to improve the amenity of their rear yard, they seek to impact the amenity of our yard by imposing an incongruous structure in breach of planning controls. In closing, we ask the following question of each of the panel members. If your neighbour submitted a non-conforming application that increased their amenity but decreased your amenity, would you not expect that the planning controls be enforced to maintain your rights? We trust that Council will uphold the DCP and reject this application. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just check if there are any questions.
It was more just to clarify the height of the structure along the boundary. I understood that the application proposed the existing wall height. Is that, I might just ask the council officers to confirm that. Is that the case? That
At least on our main scheme, we do have the applicant who's going to speak to that.
yeah, okay. You might ask the applicant to respond to that.
And we have the assessment also.
Good, thank you. Okay, that's the appropriate way to go. Thank you.
I have no questions other than that clarification.
Okay, thank you. The next speaker I have is also an objector, Adnil Ramos.
There.
Hi, can you hear me?
Have you taken yourself off mute?
Yes, can you hear me or
Yes,
not?
could you just speak up a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not in ideal conditions. I'm at work, so apologies. I won't be very long. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes.
Okay. So I won't be very long. I live in the area. I am a mother who's raised my children in the area. And I'm writing on behalf of the retention of the tree that is in front of this development application. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I'm not familiar too much with the DA. I am really focused on the retention of the tree in front of this property, where it states a recommendation of removal of a mature tree by the council landscape officer in front of 43 Oberon Street due to its poor location and visible damage caused by passing vehicles.
It's also claimed that the tree does not provide amenity, when in fact it's quite clear that it provides a good amount of shade for the street and privacy to those residents at 43 Oberon Street. So I'm writing more as just a member of the council area to express my strong opposition to the removal of this tree as recommended by your landscape officer. It seems like an imprudent decision during this era when we're experiencing record-breaking temperatures worldwide and unpredictable weather, as well as an excess of concrete and pavement as we further develop our suburbs, and people seem to be less interested in sort of open green space in their own private yards. So for Randwick Council, which prides itself on awareness of environmental and public space issues and has a great track record of progressive and progressive initiatives that foster sustainability, I find this recommendation just not the right one. Before I finish, I'll just briefly cite a 2019 article from The Conversation magazine, written by Musharraf Ketchel. This is titled Sydney House. Sorry, I've lost my place. A green canopy adds $50,000 on average to Sydney houses. That's basically part of the article name. According to this article, keeping our green infrastructure, which means retaining as much tree canopy as we can in the form of mature trees as this one, does lead to improvement of air quality, social space for interaction, especially on hot days, management of stormwater, reduction of the urban heat island effect due to excessive pavement and concrete, as I mentioned earlier, provision of urban food and habitat for native wildlife who are undergoing a lot of threats at this time. Also improvement in biodiversity.
Bill, if I could ask you to please conclude.
Sorry?
That was the 3-minute bill. If I could ask you to wrap it up now.
I'll wrap it up. Okay. So I'll just remind you also, there is a suggestion that young trees be planted to replace this one. However, the benefits from young trees do not really become apparent for at least a decade or more. Retaining our old trees is the best way to maintain our contribution to the reversal of climate change and other issues, air quality issues. So I just beseech council one more time not to cut off our nose to spite our face and to retain this amazing mature tree on the street. Thank you.
Thank you. I had a question. So there is a street tree on Oberon Street in front of the subject property, which is being retained and is subject to conditions to ensure that. And then there is a tree in the rear lane. Are you referring to the tree in the rear lane or the tree in Oberon Street?
Is it the rear lane one that's being removed?
Okay, thank you. I just want to be clear about that. Did you have any questions?
I have no questions. No, thank you.
Did you have any questions?
Yes,
Thank you very much.
I feel any mature tree should be retained.
Thank you. So the next speaker is Philippa DeMarcus.
You need to start.
I think you might be on mute. Just take yourself off mute. Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm not very good at this. I'm also speaking on behalf of the tree because my concern is with the canopy and the coming of the climate change and so on. And the DA, which I actually read, does not require the tree to be removed. It's a lovely tree and it provides a habitat for all sorts of wildlife. And it provides shade, and it does make a difference to units. I know that because the unit opposite me gives me shade on even the hottest day, and I don't need fans and air conditioning and stuff because it's cool. And I understand the objections of 43 Oberon Street because it will make a difference to their lifestyle. And apart from that, Randwick is, as we know, rather short of canopy. It has 22%, I understand, from a recent report, and not the 30% that is desirable. Now, if you pull up all these trees like this one, which has a great canopy, you can, I love lily pillies, and it's nice to see them planted everywhere in Randwick, but they're never going to provide the canopy that these old trees do. They will never get there. And even if you replace the tree, you would not get the same sort of canopy for anything up to 50 or 60 years. I think unless it is absolutely necessary, it should not be removed. I mean, my understanding of the removal of trees in the area is that it is a last resort. And I'm not convinced that this is a last resort. I think the removal of this tree is predicated more on convenience than anything else. And it will certainly affect the people next door in a negative way. And any trees that can be planted to replace it will not actually replace it. They'll just provide something slightly inferior. And I therefore think the tree should be retained.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have any questions?
Thank you. No question.
Yes, so no, I didn't have any questions either. So the next speaker I have registered is Paul Gallagher, the architect for the applicant. Just take yourself off mute. Mr. Gallagher? Yeah.
Yes, good afternoon. Okay, let's firstly thank you for the opportunity to address the chair and the panel members today. As a quick review, we want to acknowledge that the amount of effort that council has put into this application, yes, it has been protracted. There's been 3 separate applications. The ones we're doing now is that the first one was one that had partial approval. The subsequent submissions, 2 of which have been before this panel previously, are both about the garage and the landscape application. Both of those applications have been recommended by an independent consultant in exhaustive studies after consultation with council for approval, as is this one today. The only difference with the previous application, the recommended statutory authority process recommended and instructed by council was not governed as the appropriate means, and hence that generated a new DA. So what's before you today is a repeat of the last application, with the exception that we've made several increased concessions to hopefully mitigate, again, the repetitive submissions from the neighbour. We're trying to ameliorate that concern. We've made substantial reductions on the volume between the very earliest submission, which was not approved, and now we have 2 subsequent approval recommendations. The only difference that we've made from the previous application, which had an approval recommendation, is to further lower the roof and to establish an offset in response to one of the questions that's been asked before, from the boundary of 900 millimetres to the roof silhouette, which you can see in the documentation. We do not exceed the height of the existing fence, and that excludes any supplementary planting which has been trained on that fence. So our total height at the highest point of the ridge is on the rear lane is 2.6 metres as per the application. But that is not on the boundary. Our boundary height is the height of the fence, which is approximately above the floor level of the opposite house, is the same as the existing fence level, just to be absolutely clear. And that's considered another concession that we believe is fair and reasonable. Hence, there's no overshadowing caused by that low profile building. It's a very simple building. It's a very low profile. We do accept that the applicant next door, or the neighbour next door, has made a subsequent application. And if I can just repeat them, I don't want to go through those exhaustively, but there are several points. The tree is obviously an emotional item. To be absolutely clear, we have not requested that as part of our application. That's an independent decision made by council on safety and deterioration grounds and proximity to building. It was not a street tree formally planted
Sorry,
by
that's
council.
the 3-minute mark, so I'll just give you another minute to conclude.
Okay,
Thank you.
so just to be clear, we have not planted the tree. We don't ever recommend removal of trees, but we should endorse also that we are planting 4 trees nominated on the very earliest submission, and we provide greater deep soil planting. So there'll be supplementary items as the way to enhance the environment and the amenity of the area. There are 4 points listed just quickly, really briefly, by our neighbour. The slope of the roof, it has no impact on the neighbour whatsoever, with the setback being allowed to improve that situation. The second point, windows. There is no privacy compromise on this. The windows satisfy sustainability principles and give daylight and ventilation to that space. The setback from the eastern boundary, we have no impact. We've achieved a 900 setback, which achieves all the objectives of council's DCP. And then the height of the structure at the eastern boundary suggests an even a limit of 1800, which is actually lower than the existing fence and would make a garage unworkable to satisfy council's own provisions of 2.2 metre garage doors and their operation. So we believe this is a simple, highly explored resolution that gives great amenity. There is no environmental impact that we cause through this application to the properties next door, and we believe it should have full endorsement. We recommend, we accept the recommendation of the approval wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you have any questions?
No, Mr. Gallagher's answered that question. Thank you.
Okay.
Actually, I do have one question. The submitter, one of the submitters made the statement that there would be excavation on the boundary.
Yes.
So to what depth is that excavation meant?
We would estimate that the final engineering hasn't been done because we're at DA level, but we estimate that would be in the order of about 1 metre. My response to that, we have sought archival documentation while we don't have the exact as-built drawings for 43 Oberon Street swimming pool. That looks like that's excavation to establish that swimming pool, which is less than 400 millimetres from the boundary, and that doesn't include the structure. So there's only a few hundred millimetre offset from that common eastern boundary. Is in the order of 1.5 to 1.8 metres deep. Now we are not in all natural ground. There is excavation, partly fill, because of the topography of the site. So the total excavation of the fence would be in the order of 1 metre maximum. That would include the offset, because we're lowering the floor level of the garage substantially to provide convenient and reasonable access off Oberon Lane.
Thank you.
So just so you understand that, so we have put it on the drawings. We did recently get the archival documentation of the swimming pool. So again, my reservation is that we haven't established the total as build of that, but we've used the documentation of as approved. So that excavation to build the swimming pool, which is some years old now, which was done, I believe, before the tree was planted. So the tree is perhaps 13 to 15 years old. Planted in a verge of only about 400 millimetres. And the proposal of that is removal by council, not us. So there is a swimming pool structure below ground in the order of 1,500 millimetres, only about 200 or 300 millimetres from the boundary. So there is zero potential for undermining, but obviously a implementation strategy would be put in place for how that excavation would be done.
Thank you.
So no other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Gallagher. So the last registered speaker, Shauna Willifson, the owner, did you wish to speak, or has everything been covered by your architect? You don't wish to speak? Sorry, you're on mute. You just take yourself off mute.
Oh, no, I can just answer that. Shauna has chosen, she thinks it's all been covered, so she's happy just to participate in my hearing. So thank you very much for your time.
That's correct. Okay. All right. Well, in those circumstances, all of the registered speakers have, we've heard from them, And in accordance with the panel guidelines adopted at the panel meeting on the 13th of December 2018, the public meeting will now be closed and the panel will deliberate and vote on each matter in a closed session. The outcomes from voting and determination will be made available through the council's website in the following days. An audio recording of the panel meeting will also be made available through council's website. And I declare the meeting closed at 1:33 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.